What's good, everybody? This is Chris. The market is always changing. I've been through a lot of market cycles. So I'm going on 20 years now in the wholesale cannabis space. And one thing you can always count on is that once you start feeling comfortable in the moment, things can always change. So don't get complacent. And sometimes big market changes can revamp your entire operation, your entire hustle. So basically the markets are always going to be shifting. There's no consistency to it. It's based around a harvest schedule, and there's a flood of product that hits the market this time of the year into the fall and winter time. And this is important to understand because it affects the entire market and the entire supply chain, whether it's from the outdoor farms or the indoor farms, or even down to extracts, even down to the branded products. Everything's affected. It's the saying goes, a rising tide raises all boats. And the same goes when the tide goes out, all the boats drop the same amount. So again, that's another correlation to crypto, just to kind of weave the two together, but that's not what this video is about. What this video is about is understanding that the key to surviving in the cannabis space is knowing when to pivot. And there's always going to be somewhere to pivot. You just got to understand how and when it's time to, and be willing to put things on hold, or be willing to have to stop a project, walk away from a project, become complacent that you might just have to lose a big chunk of change in a project from walking away with it, but that could save you from costing more in the future, or more of your time wasted or opportunity cost wasted. So there's a lot of ways you got to look at this. And within those ways of looking at it, it goes back to other videos. Having a scarcity mindset will set you up for failure. So you want to make your decisions out of an abundance mindset. You know, you really want to be able to understand that you have the confidence to make the pivots that's necessary in order to maintain your abundance in the changing market. And, you know, for me over the years, it's been having to bounce back and forth between, you know, bulk flower to then that started getting flooded, then trim was getting big. So I was spent, you know, a better part of 2 years out in the mountains just collecting close to probably 1 million pounds of trim, I'd say, but like hundreds of thousands of pounds of trim. There's all sorts of different things, from cartridges to distillate to shatter, extracts, rosin, live rosin, so live resin, all these different things that even brokering fresh frozen, that you choose to either focus on or pivot to or shift to or even juggle. Like some of these things, it's a matter of like some days you're doing a flower deal, some days you're doing distillate deals, some days you're doing fresh frozen deals. I mean, you know, some people approach it like that. For me, I like to be more regimented and compartmentalized and have, you know, a robust idea of what the goal is, what we're doing, and just do it day in and day out, you know, and not try to bounce around all the places and chase money. You want to do things that you know is going to be a good use of your time and resources, and have that generate money. Now, one thing when you're pivoting is you want to understand that good things don't always last forever, and you got to understand to be flexible and when to get out. And that's the trick. And that's same with crypto, is knowing when to exit and having a successful exit, and not riding things down to zero, getting out while they're still at the top. So same with the flower market, the trim market, anything else. You don't want to be left holding things when the market's on a decline. So you don't want to be out there spending money when it's on a decline. But if it's on an upward trend, or if it's on a scarcity in terms of there's not enough supply to meet the demand, to meet the buying demand, then that's when you want to start putting your own money in to buy things. But when there's an abundance of product on the market, people are really trying their hardest to sell it. So not only are they dropping prices, but they're willing to you know, do things on terms. You know, 2-week terms per se is fairly popular, where especially if you're a brand, sometimes you might be able to squeeze out 4-week terms. And you know, if you're a brand sourcing flower from a farm, the farm knows you need time to get it tested, to get it packaged, to get it into the stores, to get it sold, to get the money collected, to get it back. And it's a process, it's a pipeline. So they'll usually work with you if you're a reputable brand, or if you've, you know, done good business with them in the past, or come well referred through other people in their network. These are all ways that you can get into situations where you can receive terms from suppliers in order to finance your supply chain. But at the same time, you have to be responsible with that in order to be following up, keeping that pipeline full so that there's always something coming out the end to stay current with your payments. So it's kind of like, it's like having a credit card, but you really got to be responsible with it. It's not to just go spend and max out. So you have to, if that's your financial model, you have to manage that properly. And with that being said, you have to understand what the market is going to dictate both now and in the future. And you want to look at the market, if you can, on a daily and weekly trends, but for sure on a quarterly trend. You're basically guaranteed you're always going to change with the seasons. It's just about how drastic are those changes and from which month to which month, because we'll usually see at least 2 months out of the year, and it's hard to say exactly when, but it's usually opposing. They're about 6 months away from each other, and at one point of the year we see a huge drop in supply, which causes prices to spike, and then at another point in the year we see a huge drop in demand because there's a spike in supply. And so that's where we're at right now, is the supply is just through the roof right now. So it's just like running a marathon. You're thirsty trying to chug some water, but someone's got a fire hose just pointing it at your mouth, and you're just like trying to take a sip. You can't even drink none because there's too much. So that's how it is with the cannabis space right now. There's just too much weed. You can't even, it's just the market's jammed up because it needs to get some traction. It's underwater. So a lot of that has to do with the holiday season. People are away on vacations. The market always dies down around this time, and it doesn't pick back up till mid-January, till even sometimes the end of January, till going into February. But with this year, we've seen a lot of increase in canopy in supply chain and cultivation. So we'll probably see a longer period of a downturn, and especially on the depths and the outdoor, the mid-quality and the low-quality weed. The indoor quality should pick back up much quicker than the rest, and it should sustain itself as long as you're doing the right genetics. And that's the key to the game. You got to have the right genetics. So that's a topic for another video that's actually on the list to do. So that'll be coming out soon. And that pretty much wraps up this video. I just want to really stress the fact that the market's always changing, and that you always need to stay nimble and adaptable, and be ready to pivot and know how to pivot, and not only know how, but know when. And in knowing how to pivot, that also that means knowing how to approach doing trim deals, or how to even negotiate those to even see if it's worthy of pursuing that week or that month. So that's just a small example. So you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, because that's an easy way to get burnt as well. Same within crypto too. Ease your way in, learn your way. Take small risks until you feel confident in it. Work with people that have the experience, that have the wisdom, that have the knowledge, and don't get a big head about things. Once you have some wins, don't start thinking that you know everything, because that's how you get beat down quick. And that's how, and I don't mean physically in person, I mean by life, by the universe, by karma. Once you start getting full of yourself, once you start thinking you're indestructible, that's when it hits the hardest. So always be prepared. Understand that this is a changing game. Nothing lasts forever, and always be adaptable. So thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Instagram, TikTok,